I got two very interesting books in my unboxing. Have you watched my unboxing on Sundays? If you haven't watched my unboxing on Sundays, watch my unboxing on Sundays. Because I truly do not know what is in these boxes when they are given to me. It's a surprise. You see other people unboxing and they know what's in the box. They know what they ordered from Amazon. But these boxes are not from Amazon. These boxes have been donated. They're donated materials that I will do a video on them and then I'm going to donate them. There may be one or two that I might keep, but most of the time I get rid of all of it. I have several different places they go to. So if you haven't seen the unboxing, go watch the unboxing. These two books I kept out of the unboxing videos, a special for this Star Trek. So I hope you will stay to the end for it. And here we are in season 7. Can you believe it? Oh, I almost forgot. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, K-O-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy schmancy stuff going on here. And I still wish I could run this episode and talk about it as it goes, but we can't do that. So we are in season 7. Can you believe that? We are in season 7, disc 2, episode 258 already. And I hope you watched all of the other ones with me. We've been all through 152. And we did Gambit last week, and today we are doing Phantasms. So I hope you will stick with me. Let's see. And please excuse the sinus strip. I was really good for 6 months. Now I've taken a nosedive in sinus drip. There is no overview from the captain in this particular beginning. So let's see what all that's about. Oh, wait a second. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. We got a visitor. Are you going to stay and watch Star Trek with my mommy? Get your nail out of here. It's hooked. All right. She's not. She's going to get into mischief. All right, let's get going here. So, Data is walking down the hallway and he encounters Geordi. And Geordi says, "We need to install that plasma conduit right away. We're bringing the new warp core online in less than 3 hours." And then he says, "I'll go to deck 23 and begin modifications." He says, "I'll meet you in engineering as soon as you finish there. This ought to be a lot of fun." Then Data encounters these workmen doing this work, and then they tear him apart, and then he wakes up. He's having a nightmare. And can you answer this question? Why is an android having nightmares? Is he capable of having nightmares? He's a computer. Can a computer have nightmares? That'll be the question for my title. Can Data have nightmares? See if you can answer that one for me. Somebody, anyone out there, hello? Sometimes I feel like there's nobody watching my videos and I know it. But then we get a captain's overview. Hold on a second. Then we get a captain's overview. Captain's log, stardate 47225.7. Commander LaForge has completed the installation of our new warp core. We are preparing to test its capabilities. Riker comes over to Picard. "Something wrong, sir? I just got a message from Starfleet Command. Bad news? You could say that. I've been invited to the annual Starfleet Admirals Banquet. My condolences, sir. I've managed to avoid it for the past 6 years, but now it would seem my luck has run out. I can't think of any more tedious 50 admirals shaking hands, making dull conversation, uninteresting food, boring speeches. Can you think of some excuse to get out of it? After 6 years, number one, I don't think I have any left." I know the feeling. You know how many conferences I've go to? So then Geordi and Data are working in engineering. Jody, have you ever had a nightmare? Yeah, sure, Data. Everybody does from time to time. I've had 111 since I was first discovered this program 9 months ago. In all that time, I've never experienced such strange and disturbing industry. I believe it was a nightmare. Nightmares are a part of dreaming, Data. Maybe you've just discovered a new level to your programming. Perhaps. I've also noted that I'm spending an inordinate amount of time thinking about nightmare imagery. One could say I'm almost preoccupied. Well, it's perfectly understandable, Data. Sometimes I have a nightmare. I can't shake that weird feeling for a couple of days. Commander LaForge, speaking of nightmares, who is this lady? Let's check her out. She says it's just like you said. Reset the power tap and the module came right online. You have such a wonderful grasp of engineering principles. I'm learning so much by just being around you. I'll tell you what, why don't you help Farrell check the deuterium cartridges? I'm just about to bring the warp core online. All right? Anything you say, and she goes off. Jody, you do not seem to appreciate Ensign Tyler's enthusiasm. She's enthusiastic, all right, about me. I don't understand. She's got a crush on me, Data. You do not share her affection? Exactly, and frankly, it's beginning to get a little uncomfortable. I understand. You are concerned about unintentionally hurting Ensign Tyler's feeling. Yes, something like that. It would appear that you require a third party to intervene on your behalf. I'd be happy to speak to her. No, Data. I'll take care of it myself. Jordy, when I first awoke from my nightmare, there was a brief moment when and he gets called to the bridge. Oh, wait a minute. Picard says, what's our status? He says, we're ready to bring the new core online, Captain. Stand by. All right, let's initialize in deuterium and fueling cigarette. Now let's see how fast she can run on the forge to bridge. What power at your discretion, Captain? Acknowledge. Ensign Gates set course for Starbase 2. Warp 6, engage. And nothing happens. Oops. What's going on here? Then the lights go out. And Geordi has to fix it, and he asks for a couple of hours to fix. Alright, so Troi comes in, and she sees Data staring at his cat. I want to know how they got the cat to stay there this whole time. But Brent Spinner is literally staring at this cat. And Troy's like, what are you doing? And he goes, I've been watching Spot sleep. In the past 15 minutes, he's had 12 muscle spasms, which indicates he was dreaming. I've often wondered what Spot dreams about. His twitching and his rapid breathing would seem to suggest anxiety, but Spot has never even seen a mouse or any other rodentsia. He has never encountered an insect or been chased by a canine. I understand that you've had some interesting dreams recently, Troy says. Jordy was worried about you and he wanted me to check on you. That was thoughtful of him. I've been debating whether or not to initiate another dream sequence. Because of the nightmares, I have found them to be quite unsettling. Data, you shouldn't be afraid of dark imagery in your dreams. It's a natural expression of your unconscious. If you have an unconscious, it's not really how your positronic brain works, if it's anything like ours. Then there's part of you that's trying to express itself through your dream state. I think you should allow yourself to experience. As Sigmund Freud said, dreams are the royal road to the knowledge of the mind. Thank you, Counselor. I'll initiate that sequence now. All right, wait a second. I just thought we'd show Troy. So when Data starts the dream, he's dreaming about cake with Worf. But then his dream again changes to the workman and the workman pulling him apart again. So there's somebody's trying to tell Data something and he's not getting it. He dreams of Troy as cake. And he dreams of coal miners too. Then he wakes up and Geordie, Troy, and Worf are standing over him. We've been trying to wake you for the last 5 minutes. When you didn't show up on time in engineering, I got worried. My internal chronometer was supposed to wake me 35 minutes ago. You must have overslept. That's not possible. Something is wrong. So then Jordy checks him out completely, and Jordy can't find anything wrong. So Data goes to a higher authority. Jordy said, "We don't know too much about this dream programming, and maybe there are side effects, and maybe he should discontinue it." So then he talks to this specialist, Dr. Sigmund Freud. "Tell me about this cake. It's difficult to explain. Counselor's body was a cake. Her upper body described the knife we used to cut the counselor. It was a black candle and serrated blade, and it was quite long." "How long?" 25 centimeters in length." "And what happened next?" "One of the workmen pointed to her right shoulder. At that moment, I had an overwhelming urge to cut a piece out of the cake." "And did you?" "Yes. As I began to slicing, she reacted as though I was causing her pain. I could not stop cutting. That is when I woke up. I am curious. What do my nightmares mean? I believe you're experiencing a classic dismemberment dream, or in your case, a mechanical man dismantlement dream. I do not understand. Your mechanic's qualities are trying to reassert themselves over your human qualities. Ego and id struggling for domination. The workman symbolizes the present id constantly working to destroy the ego. Now the image of Counselor Troi, a female, devoured by you, is clearly indicating an unconscious desire to possess your own mother." "I don't have a mother. Don't interrupt." And he goes on. So then he has an incoming message from Nakamura, from Admiral. "We were expecting you this morning at our conference." And he has to tell her that our warp coils are having our new warp core, my engineer assures me, that will be underway within the hour. "You're not trying to avoid this again, are you, Captain?" "Uh-huh. Uh-huh." Just show the other. He's like, "No, no, this is really an issue. Our warp cores are having trouble." So they start the warp core again, and not only does it die again, but it collapses. And Jody says, "We've blown the entire power converter. Impulse engines are down too. We're not going anywhere, but I know how to fix this. Give me 2-3 hours." And Tyler gets into it again. She's like, "Excuse me." She's cute though, isn't she? Data says, "It appears Ensign Tyler still has a crush on you. Is it clear you do not speak to her?" "No, Data. I haven't had the time. I want you to take this brace coil and run a metallurgical scan on it for me. See if there's any microfractures." And the blade that Jordy gives him reminds him of a dream. The brace is reminiscent of a saw that was in his dream. We'll see what happens next. So there's the blade that he holds, and it gives him nightmares, and he flashes back to his dream when the telephone starts ringing, and he may still be dreaming. The phone call is inside of Data, and the person on the other end of the line tells him to kill them all. So then Data goes and talks to Troi. "Everything seems to remind me of my nightmares. Objects, sounds, smells. Now I have seen elements of the dream in working state. I cannot explain it. Data, if you were one of my human paces, I might be concerned right now. I say you have a waking dream or a hallucination, but you're not human. I think we might be looking at some kind of technical problem. I have run 3 complete safe diagnostics. Perhaps Dr. Freud was correct. The knife I dreamed about is the embodiment of my unconscious desire to inflict violence. Data, even Freud said sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. But the bottom line is, I think you're developing almost an obsessive interest in your own inner workings. I'd almost call it the beginnings of neurosis. That's not possible. Why not? You've eliminated all the technical explanations, and it makes sense as your neural net becomes more complex, more human. And you might experience the same kind of psychological complexities as a human. Is that possible? Data, you must be the first person who's come to my office and been excited about the prospect of neurosis. Yes, I do. I think it's possible. I'd like to start counseling you on a regular basis. No, weekly. We'll see. So Picard has to tell him again that his warp core is still out. And he's like, "Mm." So then Picard is in engineering. Have you tried configuring the plasmacosmos? Yes, Captain, 2 hours ago. What about the relays? Are you absolutely certain you don't need a new phase inverter? I am currently running a level 3 diagnostic of the relay, sir. We'll have the results of the analysis in 10 minutes. I see. Perhaps I could reconfigure the isolinear chips. No, please, don't touch that, Captain. Commander Data and I have the situation under control. And that if you just let us take care of it, it would work much faster. And then Tyler comes in and takes the captain away, and he's like very thankful for that. So then Data's stabbing Troy. He's holding the serrated thing on top of her, and the scene splits. Then Riker and Worf are talking. Um, and they open the turbo lifts and they see Data with the bloody instrument, and they call for a medical team. And Data thinks he's still dreaming. So Data's got 3 security guards behind him. And he's got Picard, Riker, and Geordi on the other side. And he's explaining that he still felt like he was dreaming, that he had the overwhelming, compelling thing to stab Troi. So then Troi wakes up. She was really stabbed. He's not here. Just try to relax. The vascular pad has healed the wound, but you've lost a lot of blood, so I'd like you to lie still for a while. That's odd. There shouldn't be any discoloration after treatment. This looks like there's some kind of rash. I'm picking up cellular degradation, but it doesn't appear to be related to the laceration. There's some kind of residual intraphasic signature, and they have to go take a look at it. But it has left a huge mark, and that's what she's worried about right there. Data asks Geordi to watch Spot for him because he's afraid he might harm Spot. I think he just needs to turn off the dream program completely or have it removed. So, Captain, we have a problem. Take a look at this. Her tissue is breaking down on a cellular level and it's spreading. At first, they thought it was a rash from the coil brace she was stabbed with, but when I used the interphasic scanner, I found this. And they show her skin, a creature eating Troy's skin. Let's take a look and see if I can find it. So there's the bug that's eating Troi. What are we dealing with here? Are these creatures feeding on us? Yes, in a very peculiar way. They appear to be extracting our cellular peptides. It's a roughly analogous way to terrain leeches consume hemoglobin. If they're not resumed soon, our bodies are going to lose all their cellular cohesion. We'll collapse into nothing but a few pounds of chemicals. Ugh. So there's the bug on the screen in the observation room. Um, all right, is there any way we can affect these organisms? We tried EM radiation, subspeed, thermal protons, nothing worked. They seem to exist in some sort of interphasic state, just beyond our range of visual and sensor activity. The only way we can see them is to use the IP scanner. Tricorders don't even pick them up. So we've got Geordi, Riker, the doctor, Worf, Riker. Um, What about Mr. Data? There must be some connection between his odd behavior and these creatures. Is he infested as well? No, I scanned him. I found nothing. Data attacked Counselor Troy because he saw a mouth on her shoulder, and in that same area, we saw one of the first organisms. Data also saw a straw in my head, and then Beverly discovered an organism in the same place. These creatures are all part of Data's dream. Maybe somehow he's unconsciously perceiving these creatures. Then it's perhaps we took a closer look at Mr. Data's dreams. So Jordy hooks Data up. So they follow Data in his dream to where Dr. Crusher is drinking Riker's brains, where Troy is the cake, and where Worf is eating cake. Should be interesting. It's a cellular peptide cake with mint frosting. Cellular peptides, that's exactly what the creatures are extracting. Will someone answer the damn phone? Captain, the ringing is getting worse. What could the ringing symbolize? A bell, a sound, an old-fashioned way of communicating? Do you want some? It's delicious. Someone be please get that. Jordy answers the phone in Data's tummy. Yes. It's for you. Let's see if we can get this. So Jordy answers the telephone, and it's for Picard. And Picard hears the person say, kill them. Kill them before it's too late. So then they end up in Dr. Freud's office. How does he fit into all this? If I were to interpret my own appearance in this dream, I would say I am the symbolic representation of Data's unconscious mind, trying to warn him about the dangers he perceives around him. You mean the interphasic organisms? Of course. Tell me, Doctor, how do we kill them? Answer it. 999. Don't be so literal. When I say answer it, I mean respond to it. To them. Be quiet. There's workmen. What do they represent? I don't know. But I do recognize the junction that they're working on. It's the plasma conduit we installed the warp new car. Respond to them. What does that mean? What is it that you are doing? Go away. Leave us alone. Who are you? We are your enemies. All right, let's see. I'm getting a little back here. And the workmen try to get rid of Data. Um, My positronic subprocess detected high-frequency interphase signatures from the organisms, which were symbolically represented in my dreams by a high-risk shriek. When you made those noises, the dreamer reacted in pain. That is why I've asked Jordy to adjust my subprocessor. If I can produce a high-frequency interpulse, it may have a similar effect on the creatures. And they do it, and it happens. And the creatures disappear. Then we're in engineering. This conduit was manufactured on Thanos 7 using a new interphasic fusion process. We think it was that process which attracted the organisms to the conduit where they lay dormant until we activated the warp core. That is also why we couldn't get the core online. The creatures were disrupting the plasma flow. How long we have the warp core power again? Well, we're going to have a manufacture a new conduit. That's at least 6 hours work. 6 hours? The banquet will be over by then. That's unfortunate. I can try and speed things up a bit. No, no, no. I wouldn't want to sacrifice the safety of the ship. He doesn't want to go to that banquet anyway. So we end the episode with Troy bringing Data a cake. And she says, he wants to apologize for his actions. And Troy says, don't worry about it, Data. Jordy explained everything to me. It wasn't your fault. And then she shows him this. It's a cake of Data. So, are you ready for the surprise books? First surprise book. Sorry. Speaker for the Dead. Orson Scott Card. This book has been through the ringer. 1986. In the aftermath of this terrible war, Ender Wiggin disappeared and a powerful voice arose, the speaker for the dead, who told the true story of the Bugger War. Now, long years after, a second alien race has been discovered, but again the alien ways are strange and frightening. Again humans die, but it's only the speaker for the dead, who is Ender Wiggin, the Xenocide, who has the courage to confront the mystery and the truth. And this other book, The Complete, Uncensored, Unauthorized Oral History of Star Trek, The 50-Year Mission, The Next 25 from the Next Generation to J.J. Abrams, Mark A. Altum and Edward Gross. This book is heavy. It weighs a ton. This is the incredible true story behind the making of an enduring television classic. There have been many books written about Star Trek, but never with the unprecedented access, insight, and candor of authors Mark A. Altman and Edward Gross. The 50-Year Mission, the next 25 years, is an incisive, no-holds-barred oral history of the return of Star Trek to television and its transition from unique cult phenomenon to a blockbuster franchise. It is told exclusively by the people who were there, in their own words, sharing the inside scoop they've never revealed before, unveiling the oftentimes shocking truth behind the history of Star Trek, and chronicling the trials, tribulations, and troubles that have remained deeply buried secrets until now. The 50-Year Mission, the next 25 years, includes the voices of hundreds of television and film creators, stars, writers, directors, executives, programmers, spanning from beloved Next Generation TV show and subsequent films through its spin-offs Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, including J.J. Abrams' reimagined series, which includes Star Trek Beyond. No pictures. No pictures. No pictures. There's no pictures. Maybe we'll do this for one of the reading Saturdays. We'll see. So what do you think? Is this awesome or what? And I hope you will stay tuned next week for Dark Place and the week after Attached. And I hope you watched Gambit 2 with me last week. Star Trek. The 50-Year Mission. The 50-Year Mission. How's it going? Have a good day.